Marrow of the earth flows through my veins, liquid and the glow beneath the skin. I lean into the silence of your breath, where every secret pulse begins to spin. The clay is soft under our resting feet. We are the harvest of the quiet heat. A golden thread is pulled from out the dark. It weaves around the hollow of my chest. The scent of crushed hibiscus fills the air as sunlight settles down to find its rest. You are the gravity that holds the tide. We've nothing left to fear or seek to hide. Take me to the center of the bloom, where ancient spirits hum within the room. It is a slow descent into the deep, a promise that the weary soil will keep. Everything is heavy, everything is light, in the velvet cradle of the night. Copper rivers winding through the palms. The language of the leaves is thick and sweet. We translate every tremor in our palms until the cycle of the day is complete. Infinite and bound by organic grace, finding home within this holy space. The shadows stretch like fingers on the wall, tracing out the map of who we are. No distance left between our bone and soul, no longer reaching for a distant star. The warmth is here inside the folding palm, a steady sanctuary, wide and calm. The air is thick with nectar and the sun. The many paths have melted into one. The roots are reaching down and touch the fire. The lifting them and singular desire. Take me to the center of the bloom, where ancient fields hum within the room. It is a slow descent into the deep, a promise that the weary soil will keep. Everything is heavy, everything is light, in the velvet cradle of the night. The velvet weight of silence settles on the floor, where gravity dissolves against the frame of the door. I feel the pulse of amber light beneath my skin, waiting for the tide of breathing to begin. The air is thick with honey and the ghosts of cold, stories in the marrow that have not been told. We are suspended in a web of shifting glass, watching every shadow as the seconds pass. hollow shell. Hold the current till the wires start to fray. Let the heavy colors wash the world away. Sink into the deepness of the underswell, where the quiet secrets of the spirit dwell. It is a soft collision in the sea of grace. Then it is seen without a footprint or a trace. Warmth is just the language that we used to know, moving through the beauty of the undertow. There is no jagged edge to cut the evening thin. Only light the edges start to spin. Lush and luminous, the fabric starts to tear, giving up the burden that we have to bear. But luxury of losing every sense of name, walking through the center of a frozen flame. The architecture of the heart is built on sand, slipping through the fingers of a phantom hand. But here the foundation is a steady glow, feeding every current that we try to sow. We are a pulse inside a rain of violet quartz, tracing out the maps within the inner courts. Hey, hey, hey. There is a mercy in the way the shadows linger, filling every hollow space that lies between. The static fades into a velvet hum, until the two of us at last become a single oscillation in the heat, where the ancient and the modern finally meet. Hold the current till the wires start to fray. Let the heavy color wash the world away. Sink in fever deepness of the underswell. Let the quiet secrets of the spirit play. It is a soft collision in the sea of grace, and it's shame without a footprint or a trace. Warmth is just the language that we used to know, moving through the beauty of the undertow. The amber glow leans heavy on the door frame. Found your fingerprints inside the velvet dust. A silver spark ignites the silent heart fire, melting down the edges of our trust. You hold the gravity within the shallow breath, pulling every shadow to the center of the floor. The hollow space is filled with hum and honey, until the daylight cannot reach us anymore. The hammer strikes a chord of soft metal. The current ripples underneath the skins. We drift through corridors of liquid satin, letting all the heavy weather in, swaying in the cradle of the slow burn, yashing through the fever of the haze, folded in the arms of emotion, lost inside the spiral of the days, swaying in the cradle of the slow burn, washing through the fever of the haze, folded in the arms of emotion, lost inside the spiral of the days, swaying in the cradle of the slow burn, washing through the fever of the haze, folded in the arms of emotion, lost inside the spiral of the days. A wooden pulse is beating in the corner, counting every drop of pouring light. The The ivory keys are shivering in circles, carving out a canyon through the night. Your voice is woven in the fabric of the mist, a tangle of the ghosts we used to know. We sink into the softness of the cellar, watching how the bitter embers grow. The hammer strikes a chord of softened metal, the current ripple underneath the skin. We drift through corridors of liquid satin, letting all the heavy weather in, swaying in the cradle of the slow burn, washing through the fever of the haze, folding in the arms of emotion, lost inside the spiral of the days, swaying in the cradle of the slow burn, washing through the fever of the haze, folded in the arms of emotion, lost inside the spiral of the days.
The attic dust is spinning in the gray light. A velvet static hums across the floor. I feel the static pressure of the daylight and heavy grains of sand against the door. My lungs are filled with particles of silence. The taste of copper settling on my tongue. I watch the tiny shapes in quiet violence until the ancient clock is finally unstrung. This is the texture of the long forgotten, the rough edge of a dream that went to sea. The threads are worn away and mostly rotten, but offer everything I really need. I am the murmur in the hollow ceiling, the softest friction of a ghost in flight, a fragmented and secondary feeling, dissolving in the middle of the night. Crush the mountain into diamonds for the blind, sift the ocean through an eagle in my mind. Every second is a pebble in the stream. Nothing is as solid as it would seem. I heard 1,000 swallows in the chimney. Their wings were beating rhythmic like a heart. The darkness in the corner tried to win me and pull the very fabric all apart. But I am woven from the finest powder, a mist that settles on a window pane. The silence only grows a little louder to shield me from the coldness of the rain. The air is thick enough to hold my shadow. The world is made of many tiny parts, a harvest from a deeper lonely meadow to fill the hollow chambers of our hearts. This is the texture of a long forgotten, the rough edge of a dream that went to sea. The threads are worn away and mostly rotten, but offer everything I really need. I am the murmur in the hollow ceiling, the softest friction of a ghost in flame, fragmented and secondary feeling, dissolving in the middles of the night. This is the texture of a long forgotten, the rough edge of a dream that went to sea. The threads are worn away and mostly rotten, but offer everything I really need. Shadows where the shadows learn to crawl, moving slow against the hunger of the wall. I see the gold light bleeding through the cracks, while the heavy earth is pushing on our backs. No more talking when the spirits stop to rise, just the mirror staring back into your eyes. Tracing circles in the palm of every hand, building temples on the shifting of the sand. You drift heavy like a fever in the veins, breaking free from all the copper and the chains. There is a hum beneath the floorboards of the night, swelling upwards till it swallows every light. Let the friction wear the edges of the soul, until the broken parts are finally made whole. Keep the balance on a wire of a sound. Feet are dancing but they never touch the ground. Hold the pulse before it fades into the deep. A promise that the waking rivers keep, rising higher than the fever and the flame, until the silence forgets to call your name. Underneath the skin, the steady thunder rolls, filling up the empty spaces in our soul. Hold the pulse before it fades into the deep. A promise that the waking rivers keep. Hold the pulse before it fades into the deep. A promise that the waking rivers keep, rising higher than the fever and the flame, until the silence forgets to call your name. Underneath the skin, the stays on the road, filling up the empty spaces in our soul. Hold the pulse before it fades into the deep. A promise that the waking rivers keep. Wash the bitter from the salt upon the tongue, sing the secrets that the elders never sung. When the clock stops turning in the heat, and the world is just a drum beneath our feet, we are water flowing back into the well, breaking every ancient and the heavy spell. The horizon is a line we never cross, gaining everything inside of every loss. So we linger where the air is getting thick, like the flame upon a dying candle wick. Every motion is a prayer we send to sky, looking forward to the winner on its side. Take the burden and we cast it to the sea, finally learning what it means to truly be. Just a ripple on the surface of the dark, searching for the glow inside a tiny spot. Hold the pulse before it fades into the deep. A promise that the waking rivers keep, rising higher than the fever and the flame, until the silence forgets who call your brittle and pale. I am tracing the map of every silent take you home. While the clocks outside begin to fail, the floorboards hold their breath beneath our weight, as if the world stopped spinning at the gate. Your pulse is a bird trapped in a porcelain cage, fluttering against the skin of the night. We are writing ourselves on a number page with the ink of the fate inside. I smell the salt and the coming of the frost, counting the treasures we never truly lost. Stay within the architecture of this gentle breath before the silver sky begins to fade. We are the only living things that fight death in the quiet corners where the shadows play. Hold the gravity of what we cannot name, and let the stillness put the noise to shame. The curtains swirl like the sails of a ghost ship, drifting through a room filled with tide. I cast the unspoken prayer upon your lip, with nowhere left for the weary to hide. The frames on the wall are watching us dissolve into a riddle that only the dark can solve. You are a cathedral built of glass and bone, and I am the pilgrim at the door. The heaviest truths are the ones we face alone on this cold and unvarnished floor. But tonight, the distance is a thin and fragile thread, lying like a secret on the unmade bed. The horizon is a line we'll never have to touch. The seconds are happy and few. I never thought I could offer this much to someone as brokenly true as you. Stay within the architecture of this gentle breath before the silver sky begins to fade. We are the only living things that find death in the quiet corners where the shadows play. Hold the gravity of what we cannot name, and let the stillness put the noise to shame. Copper kettles clinking in the dust, golden light settling on the praise, woven baskets overflowing with the morning harvest. Shoes tapping out of poles upon the ancient stones, voices rising like the steam from heavy iron pots, the heavy scent of saffron drifting through the archway. Give me what you carry in your palms, I will bring the stories from the road, lend a hand to lift the heavy load. Can you feel the turning of the wheel? Yes, we feel the turning of the wheel. Is the spirit moving in the brain? It is moving to the sun and rain. Build the fire higher than the wall, higher than the shadow as it falls. Silver trinkets dancing on the stream, colors bleeding into every corner of the square. Every face on map of where the rivers used to run, bargain for a train tracks hum against the iron of the morning. I heard a screen door creak across the county line. A heavy mist is tangled in the cedar branches, and I am walking just to mark the passing line. The gravel crunches underneath my weary footsteps. The ghost of some old engine rattles in the wind. The tide is pulling at the edges of the map. Ooh, the colors bleed together in the gray. Ooh, I'm looking for a hollow place to rest my head. Ooh, before the silver light begins to fray. Lost its way. The cricket ceased their clicking in the tall grass to listen to the things I cannot say. There's a pulsing in the dark beneath the garden, a heartbeat moving slow beneath the clay. The tide is pulling at the edges of the map. Ooh, the colors bleed together in the gray. Ooh, I'm looking for a hollow place to rest my head. Ooh, before the silver light begins to fray.
Only the rhythm of the tides within my chest. This is the sound of the long after the sun is gone. I am leaning into the stillness of your spirit, holding the thread that binds the soil through the storm.
The morning sun leans heavy on the brick. The pavement hums a melody so thick. I see the basket power summer green, the brightest color that I have ever seen. The silver scale is tipping on the side. The river rises with a copper tide. A wooden table stained with berry juice. The spirit shaking everything it loose. Can you hear the bell? I can hear the bell. Is there news to tell? There is news to tell. Is the spirit high? Watching it go by. The canvas canopy is snapping loud against the murmurs of the moving crowd. A nickel for a glass of something sweet to cool the dust upon our weary feet. Old man leaning on a walking cane, waiting for the coming of the rain. He remembers when the dusty road was wide, with nothing but a heavy heart to hide. The air is thick with spice and golden hay. The ghosts are dancing in the light of day, turning over stones to find the truth, searching for the wildness of our youth. Can you hear a bell? I can hear a bell. Is there news to tell? There is news to tell. Is the spirit high? Watching it go by. Can you hear the bell? Can you hear the bell? I can hear the bell. I can hear the bell. Is there news to tell? Is there news to tell? There is news to tell. Is the spirit high? Watching it go by. The amber cloud descends behind the violet tide, while salty breezes brush against my skin so warm. I feel the pulse of earth and water deep inside. A stillness that is right before the golden storm. The copper light is painting diamonds on the throne. A sanctuary found within this liquid space. I realize that finally I wander home to find the peace that's on the surface of your face. sand against the door. My lungs are filled with particles of silence. The taste of copper settling on my tongue. I watch the tiny shapes in quiet violence until the ancient clock is finally unstrung. This is the texture of the long forgotten, the rough edge of a dream that went to sea. The threads are worn away and mostly rotten, but I offer everything I really need. I am the murmur in the hollow ceiling, the softest friction of a ghost in flight, a fragmented and secondary feeling, dissolving in the middle of the night. I crush the mountain into diamonds for the blind, sift the ocean through a needle in my mind. Every second is a pebble in the stream. Nothing is as solid as it would seem. I heard 1,000 swallows in the chimney. Their wings were beating rhythmic like a heart. The darkness in the corner tried to win me and pull the very fabric all apart. But I am woven from the finest powder, a mist that settles on the window pane. The silence only grows a little louder to shield me from the coldness of the rain. The air is thick enough to hold my shadow. The world is made of many tiny parts. A harvest from a deep and lonely meadow to fill the hollow chambers of our heart. This is the texture of the long forgotten, the rough edge of a dream that went to sea. Its threads are worn away and mostly rotten, but I offer everything I really need. I am the moon in the hollow ceiling, the softest friction of a ghost in flight, fragmented and secondary feeling, dissolving in the middle of the night. This is the texture of the long forgotten, the rough edge of a dream that went to sea. The threads are worn away and mostly rotten, but I offer everything I really need. I am the murmur in the hollow ceiling, the softest fiction of a ghost in flight, a fragmented and secondary feeling, dissolving in the middle